Open source software has been around for decades, and it's not an exaggeration to say that nearly all companies run on open source somewhere in their business. In a report published by Red Hat in 2019, 89% of enterprises interviewed said that open source plays an important strategic role in their company. What's the reason? From the same report, Gordon Half, a technology evangelist at Red Hat, suggests it's due to not only being cheaper, but that open source is genuinely better software than the alternatives. But you're probably wondering what the benefits are of you contributing to open source. Contributing to open source can help you grow personally. I know it's helped me grow in many ways, and I've seen how it's benefited friends and coworkers throughout my career. One of the biggest benefits is the opportunity to give back to the community. There are hundreds, if not thousands, of open source projects you could contribute to that have a real impact on people. For example, Hospital Run is a popular nonprofit project that is a UI frontend for developing world hospitals. You could help journalists get better insights to US Census data by contributing to the Census Reporter project. Or you could even help build software to help map safe restrooms for trans, intersex, and gender nonconforming individuals. Open source touches many aspects of how we work throughout the world, and volunteering your time to help contribute can be so rewarding. This is probably the top motivator to get involved in open source. Whether you're starting out in your development career or have been doing this for over 10 years, there's always something new to learn every day. Contributing to open source gives you a space to experiment and learn new technologies and build your talent stack. Your talent stack is the set of marketable skills you have that you can develop and keep stacking to grow yourself personally. Many open source projects have more than one maintainer, and popular projects can have hundreds of regular contributors. As you contribute more and more to a project, inevitably you'll start to develop relationships with maintainers and contributors alike. These kinds of relationships add real value to your life and could open new doors you previously didn't think were possible. Chances are if you're taking this course, you might currently only be a consumer of open source. Contributing is a chance to become a creator and solve problems. By contributing to a project, you might find new problems to solve that motivate you to create your own projects. What are your hobbies? Skydiving, video games, board games, rock climbing, hiking? There are open source projects related to all of these and more. Finally, contributing to open source can be financially rewarding when a project gets sponsorship, crowdfunding, and makes a real impact on the broader community. This is sometimes referred to as sustainable open source. Some individual developers are even able to switch full-time to working on open source with new funding platforms like GitHub sponsors, Patreon, and more. Other projects create services and productized offerings to help fund the project. As more ways develop to help support and fund open source development, working full-time as an open source developer will hopefully become more viable as time goes on. You might wonder how becoming a contributor could affect your career. Let's go over some key benefits I've witnessed or experienced personally and seen throughout the industry. The work you do in open source is, surprise, out in the open, which means that anyone can see your code, the way you interact with others, and your experience. You probably will still get interviewed, but your work can speak for itself. Going hand in hand with working in the open, people will take notice, and this can lead to getting hired at a company. Working on an open source project typically involves multiple people, some with different roles, especially on large projects, and showing you understand the workflow of pull requests, code reviews, and working with others is important. As much as technical skill is valued in your career, it's just as important, if not more important, to develop good interpersonal skills. Contributing to open source offers a way to work with people with backgrounds and experiences that differ from yours. As you get more involved in an open source project, you take part in more aspects of the software development lifecycle, such as design, testing, and project management. Finally, participating in open source sets you apart from others and leads to growth in many aspects, which I've just discussed. Even if not everything is immediately visible to others, you're still developing yourself and gaining experience you otherwise wouldn't have, which makes you more valuable to your company or companies you're applying to. Let me share a quick story that pulls this all together. Let's say you really want to work at Wired Brain Coffee and they maintain one of the top espresso machine software open source projects. The project is written in a framework you're already familiar with, but historically you've only been a consumer. Since it's a large and complex project, you start small, fixing small bugs or writing documentation. Over time, as you gain more experience, you take on larger and more impactful changes and consistently submit high-quality contributions. At some point, the product manager on the team reaches out to you. You start getting invited to planning meetings and getting asked for your input on new features. You even meet the team in person at a conference. Eventually, you mention your interest in working at Wired Brain. You've built up relationships with other team members and you're producing consistently good work. They say to apply once there's an open position. You'll probably still go through an interview process, but because all your work is in the open, your contributions are a testament to your skills and ability to work on the project. This is based on a true story of a close friend of mine, except the company was Microsoft. He didn't choose to take the step of applying to the role as it wasn't the right timing for him. These are real benefits to contributing to open source. Doors that were shut can suddenly open for you. Open source even had a hand in me getting my current role. I went from doing DevOps to doing front-end development in an entirely different stack because I'd built up nearly a year of experience working with specific front-end technologies in open source projects and giving conference talks on those topics. My interviewers may never have seen that work or listened to my talks, but that experience is what allowed me to demonstrate my skills for the role I was applying to. The story of me and my friend are not unique. There are even more impressive stories out there. I share these stories because you don't have to be overly impressive to experience the benefits of open source. In short, open source is an incredibly rewarding way to invest your time.